mistake in her new memoir, 107 Days. She writes Biden's run was driven by ego, not judgment. Harris later replaced him as the Democratic nominee, but lost to Trump in the shortest presidential campaign in U.S. history. And Jay-Z is shutting down rumors of a new album. Cash Cobain says Jay-Z called him to say he's absolutely not dropping an album after Cobain hinted big music was coming. Memphis Bleak also confirmed Jay-Z reached out to clear the air. KBLA News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Saving money on tires and auto repair services is a big deal. That's why Big O offers a low price guarantee on tires with big deals like this. Now buy 3 select tires, get the 4th tire free with paid installation during our September to Remember. Now at Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers won their 4th straight and increased their lead to 3 games over San Diego in the NL West. Mookie Betts highlighted a 9-0 win over Colorado with a grand slam, the 7th in his career. Betts was 4 for 5 at the plate with 5 RBIs. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series at San Francisco Friday night. The Angels beat Minnesota 4-3. The Angels are 69-77 with 16 games left in the regular season. They are still in contention for one of the 3 wildcard spots in the American League playoffs. More troubling news for the UCLA football program. Backup quarterback Pierce Clarkson was arrested on suspicion of felony assault with a deadly weapon. LAPD said the weapon was not a gun. Clarkson posted a $30,000 bail. A court hearing is set for October 3rd. Clarkson has been suspended from the team pending the outcome of his case. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
That makes this day special, incredible. Your smile is electric. It kind of makes me wonder, would the sun refuse to shine if you weren't around? Hey, hey, spontaneous. You live life free and easy, so reachable. To you, no one's a stranger. It doesn't really matter where you are, 'cause you're the life of the party when you step off in the room. Girl, it's your birthday, and girl, we gon' do it big. Girl, it's your birthday, you waited all year for this. Girl, it's your birthday, I put a smile on your face. Girl, it's your birthday, we came here to celebrate.
All right, I confess that I did not see this coming. But Dr. West chooses his own walk-on music every Monday and Thursday at the top of the second hour. So, Doc, you have to explain this one, sir.
Brother, I'm not going to allow all of this massive death and organized hatred and chronic violence to steal my joy and celebrate my brother Tavis Smiley's birthday. No, it's 61 years ago, our precious George Smiley gave birth to one of the grandest and great ones in Mississippi, brother. So we got to start always with our tradition and with our love and with our community and with our struggle, that we have seen this kind of hatred and violence and unbelievable lies before, and we fall back. And David Scott laying it out. And, you know, that's one of the theme songs of the Ernest Just DMU Senior Line Dancers with Brother Joe Nelson, America's oldest teenager, 91 years old. He's there every night. Anahita and I, you know, we watch it regularly. And, of course, this song comes from Anahita as well as myself, brother, that we love you, man. We respect you, brother, and your birthday is worthy of celebration in the midst of all of this ugliness.
No, I appreciate it. My birthday is on Saturday, the 13th, and as you can tell, Cornel West is my friend. He is my dear friend and my brother beloved, and I am grateful to Dr. West for shouting it out a couple of days ahead of time. This is our last time, of course, talking on the radio before Saturday. If I make it to Saturday, as he said, I will have achieved the age of 61, and for that I am eternally grateful, but I'm also grateful for the long-time friendship, brotherhood, and stewardship, for that matter, of Cornel West. And so we are delighted to be partnered once again on this program with a version of Smiley and West every Monday and Thursday. Delighted to have Dr. West on this program. And, Doc, I appreciate you in the shout-out, man. I love you. You know that already, though. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you, too, though, brother. And you're right. We got to deal with the mess.
Yeah. There is some mess to deal with. Let's deal with it. I'm sorry. What are you going to say, Doc? Go ahead.
Great. I said, your courageous words, though, brother. You see, it's one thing to acknowledge, okay, Brother Charlie Kirk is made in the image of God, and he has a certain dignity and sanctity, and we pray for his family. Murder is murder, and we call into question any kind of murder. But at the same time, you have the lies of the mainstream media that don't want to tell the truth about what he stood for, what he said, and accountability for those words. And we draw a distinction. We got a spiritual and a moral concern about his family and so forth. He's a human being. But when they start lying on the brother,
that's right,
and you think that somehow he's Martin Luther King Jr. on the vanilla side of town, you say, no, we got to tell the truth. Why? Precisely because black life got the same value as any other life. Poor people's life got the same value as any other life. It doesn't devalue his life. It just reevaluates the kind of racism,
that's right,
and the legacy of the white supremacy still operating so thick, though, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you can behave that way. With all due respect to Charlie Kirk, and Doc's right, we don't condone murder. This is not a vigilante society, at least ought not to become one. But when you can say the things and do the things that he said, and when you are murdered, flags are flying at half-mast, and the president announces almost immediately you're going to posthumously receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor that we give in this country. Anyway, speaking of that president, here's what he had to say yesterday about the murder of Charlie Kirk.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there has never been anyone who was so respected by youth. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now.
It almost makes your skin crawl to hear Donald Trump get on this sort of moral high ground, this moral platform of lecturing to all the rest of us about demonizing your opponents, when that's what he does 24/7. But I digress on that for now. He mentioned Charlie Kirk was murdered on a college campus. Indeed, he was. I mentioned earlier in this program that there were at least 2 and maybe a third HBCU that's on lockdown right now, even as we speak, because they are getting threats of political violence. So you ask yourself, like, what's the connection? Like, why all of a sudden are these black colleges getting threats of political violence the day after they murdered Charlie Kirk? Like, what's that about? I mentioned Alabama State in our first hour, on lockdown right now. I mentioned Hampton University, on lockdown right now. I mentioned unconfirmed reports that Clark Atlanta was on lockdown, and now comes word that Bethune-Cookman is on lockdown right now. Why are all these black colleges being threatened today in this moment, and they're canceling classes and students are locked in place on HBCU campuses? Going to leave that there for the moment. When we come forward, it's not just the Charlie Kirk murder from yesterday. Today, as you know, is the 24th anniversary of 9/11. Almost 25 years ago, this tragedy was visited upon the United States of America. And I was with Dr. West shortly after that. We were out on a lecture tour together. And Dr. West said something then I want to come back to 24 years later. He framed it, the niggerization of America. So, Brother Tavis, and to the audience, he said, this is the niggerization of America. This is what it means for all the other fellow citizens to feel what we have felt all along. What is that? Unsafe, unprotected, subject to random violence and hated. That's what I recall Dr. West saying 24 years ago after 9/11, that we were experiencing the niggerization of America. Unsafe, unprotected, subject to random violence and hated. That's what everybody else started to feel after what happened 24 years ago today. We'll talk about that as well with Dr. Cornel West when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Two quick footnotes here, and then I'll cut Dr. West loose for the rest of this half hour. I mentioned moments ago that there were at least 4 HBCUs on lockdown. That list is growing by the moment. It's not just the 4 that I mentioned. So here's what we know at this hour. These are the HBCUs that are now on lockdown because of the threats of political violence that are coming into these institutions. I guess they figure y'all killed Charlie Kirk, although we didn't kill Charlie Kirk. The images they've released so far are the FBI's of a young white male, but, you know, here we are with black folk again being threatened. So it's Virginia State, Hampton, Clark Atlanta, Bethune-Cookman, Alabama State, and now Southern University. Unconfirmed reports that Fayetteville State may be on lockdown as well in North Carolina. So it's a growing list, Doc, of all these black colleges, these precious black students being threatened to the extent of campuses being shut down, students being locked in place. The list is growing, number one. Number two, I love the brightness, the brilliance of my audience. I say all the time how grateful I am to have a really smart audience. And when you curate a smart show with contributors like Cornel West and Connie Rice, you curate a smart audience. It makes sense to me. And one of our listeners said to me, and I love this, I hadn't even thought about this. You heard that clip of Donald Trump moments ago talking about the radical left and how we're responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk and how we compare people to Hitler. And a listener said, do you recall during the campaign, Tavis, that J.D. Vance compared Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler? And I'd forgotten about that. So I guess Trump is saying that his vice president, Doc, is also part of the radical left because he compared Donald Trump to Hitler at one point. I digress. It pays to have a really, really smart audience who's tapped into these conversations. Now, today is the 24th anniversary, the 24th commemoration of 9/11. We'll talk more about that later in today's program. But as I said moments ago, I was with Dr. West in one of our many lectures together, traveling this country and indeed the world. And shortly after 9/11, Doc had the courage and the conviction. As I said earlier, either you're running scared or you're running free. Cornel West ain't running scared either. And he said publicly, and it was written about all in the media, 24 years ago, that we are experiencing the niggerization of America. What he meant by that, as he opined and unpacked in a number of lectures, is that everybody else now knows how we feel, how we felt all along, to be unsafe, unprotected, subject to random violence, and hated. And here we are once again in this Charlie Kirk moment, Doc, where one could argue that others are feeling what we have felt all along. I don't need to run the list again of all the black folk who've been terrorized and murdered and lynched down through the years. That's the frame that my mind is in 24 years later. I hope you recall that, and if you do, how would you reframe that thesis in 2025?
Oh, I recall it, but remember we put it on the first album, Sketches of My Culture.
That's
with
right.
My brother. And BOA and Mike Daly and others. In fact, you on that album.
Mm-hmm.
No. I think you on the third one. I think you was on the third one. I don't know if you was on that first one. But the niggerization meant that niggerization is a form of gangsterization. Niggerization is a species of thugification. So what has happened is American society has become even more gangsterized with the organized greed and the unbelievable hatred escalating. It's become more thugified. You remember Grandmaster Fast and the Furious 5 said, like a jungle sometimes.
Makes you wonder how I keep from going under. That's it, yeah.
Martin Luther King used to say what? America will come to an end. We will ring down the curtain on America and the democratic experiment if you don't come to terms with the forms of niggerization and gangsterization and thugification. And he didn't use that language, but what he was talking about, if he didn't come to terms with racism, poverty, militarism here and abroad,
that's right,
and the materialism at home. And what we are experiencing is what Martin called the obsession now with a sick society in which the only thing that really matters is the 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught. All the morality gone. All spirituality gone. Cruelty as policy, empathy as enemy, and those who hold on to integrity, we on our way to your house. character assassination, literal assassination. That's precisely where we're headed if we don't turn around. There's been a cold civil war and a cold race war, and both are heating up. And we have to be honest about this, but as love warriors, we say we're going to cut against that grain. We say we're going to create moments of interruption. We say we're going to create moments of eruption so people can see in solidarity with immigrants, working people's trade unions, Palestinians undergoing genocide, gays and lesbians and trans being demonized, black folk being vilified. We create solidarity in the name of our love and concern, in the name of morality and spirituality at a moment in which gangsterization is on steroids.
I raised this. You referenced my commentary in the first hour. I want to come back to that because there's a particular point, one or two points I want to raise to get your take on. You heard my POV, my point of view about these politicians, Republican and Democrat, who keep offering this refrain that political violence has no place in America. When you hear that, you think what?
I say to myself, not just that they need to get off the crack pipe, but it's their particular version of acting as if they can create a space of purity, that they can be pristine. But America, as we know, has been shot through with a violence for over 250 years and 400 years for us, even prior to the founding of America. Violence is a crucial part of the country, and our existence has been counter-violence. Our existence has been counter-terrorist. Our existence has been counter-hatred to what is coming at us. And the saddest thing, though, Tavis, and I tell you, man, your courageous witness is really something that people need to take notice of more readily, because it is the capitulation of the mainstream that facilitates the kind of fascism that is being consolidated, in the language of my dear sister Connie. The consolidation, she says consolidation of authoritarianism. I'd say consolidation of fascism. But it's the capitulation. You see, you can't go at universities, you can't go at the law firms, you can't go at main media, you can't go at the tech billionaires without capitulation on behalf of those institutions and sites. And once you have capitulation, then it's open season on us.
Yeah. I'm pausing here only because there are two or three thoughts running through my head at the same time, and I think I want to give you a chance to sort of unpack this one first, and that is what happens. Connie raised this issue. We didn't get a chance to really unpack it, so I saved it, and made a note of it on my. I'm on my little scratch pad here that I want to get to with you. And she mentioned this notion of this really being about crushing dissent. No naivete in this question, but you teach this stuff every day. What happens to a democracy, or as I prefer to call it, as you know, an experiment in democracy, when dissent is crushed? What does history tell us about what happens to a society when dissent in that republic is crushed?
You lose the best voices, you lose the best figures, you lose the best movements. And it means that there's no place left for integrity, honesty, decency, courage, truth-seeking, truth-telling, and justice-seeking. And which means that's what fascism is. Fascism specializes in making truth and justice casualties in the name of waving the flag, in the name of making your country great. And this was true in Italy, it's true in Germany, it's true in Spain. We're talking about Mussolini, we're talking about Hitler, we're talking about Franco. And, of course, fascism is escalating all around the world. It's in Hungary and other places as well. It's escalating in Africa. It's escalating in Latin America and so forth. But people thought that the United States was so exceptional that we were beyond the laws of history, so that we could be as greedy as we wanted. We could have as much hate. We could have as much poverty. We could have as much unaccountability and still be a city on the hill. No, not at all. You end up in the gutter like every empire.
There are two other thoughts that are in my head right now that I want to push out about what I recall from your speech, a series of speeches 24 years ago today after 9/11. You recall in that speech, if my memory serves me correctly, and I'm certain it does, in this instance at least, you talked in that speech, Doc, about what happens to a society, a democracy, that puts the flag above the cross. I come back to that now because we're seeing all this reporting about Charlie Kirk and his being a Christian, et cetera, et cetera. But you had something to say about what happens when you put the flag above the cross in that speech about the Negroization of America. Unpack that for me, please.
Well, the cross stands for unarmed truth and unconditional love. For Christians like yourself and myself, it stands for the death of a God who became man, who identified with poor people and was put to death by a Roman Empire. And they thought they had snuffed out all the love and all the justice, but the drops at the bottom of that cross constituted exemplars of love. And when he bounced back, the people who were tied to that blood at the bottom of that cross decided to bear witness for the love and be a follower of him. Meaning what? That the flag, if informed deeply by the cross, can be a positive thing because nation states have a role. But when the flag goes one way and the cross goes another, the flag goes away from truth, the flag goes away from love and away from justice, you end up with a tribalism that subjugates other people, that views those outside of your borders or those with different colors or those who have less money than you as not being worthy of human and humane treatment. And there's 193 flags and countries in the world, and all of them have the challenge of truth and justice, and all of them stand under the judgment of truth and justice. And for me, all of them stand under the judgment of a loving and an almighty God who will break their power and say, you're going to reap what you sow. Chickens come home to roost. Nobody escapes the law of history. You ought to be move toward truth and love and justice, or you're going to lose your democracy.
And finally here, because it is the breaking news of the moment, what say you about whatever is animating these political threats on these black colleges, so much so that at least 6 of them, as we speak right now, Dr. West, are under lockdown because of threats of political violence against those precious black students?
Oh, that's just raw racism, brother. That's raw white supremacy. And we got to call it for what it is, and we got to fight, and we make sure that we don't end up in the gutter of hating. We don't end up drinking from the bitterness of a cup of sheer revenge and hatred. We stand up for love. We stand up for truth. And we know in the end, we will be crucified.
Yeah. When you know that in the end you will be crucified, how do you sustain your hope?
You sustain your hope because what's been poured into you as you bear witness is so overwhelming that with the transformations in your life, the love and unbelievable service that has been poured into us, Joyce into you, Irene into me. We can go on and on and on. All that's been poured into us, we are already fortified, knowing they're going to die anyway. Use your death for something bigger than you. In fact, in a way, it's a privilege to die because God gave you the gift of life. Why not give that gift back to God and give that gift back to the least of these?
Yeah. You mentioned Martin earlier in this conversation, and Doc knows this well. We've discussed it and unpacked it many times. Dr. King, Martin was fond of saying that he paraphrased it. I'm paraphrasing. He offered it in a variety of contexts, said it in a variety of ways, but his point simply was this, that we have no control over when we die or necessarily how we die, but we do have some control of what we die for. You don't control when, you don't control the how, but you have absolute control over what you are willing to die for. And so we close on that note. As I said, Dr. West is my dear friend and brother, and I appreciate his kind words at the top of this conversation of Smiley and West, but more importantly, I appreciate his truth-telling, and that is why I'm honored to have him on this program every Monday and Thursday at the top of the second hour. Dr. West, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Love you, brother. Stay strong now.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. Forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The FBI is still searching for the gunman who killed conservative Speaker Charlie Kirk. Former agent Stuart Kaplan says public figures may need to avoid open-air events.
If you are a public figure today and you're going about your business in public, you have to then consider everything is on the table at this point.
Investigators are currently reviewing security footage. 14 West Africans deported from the U.S. have arrived in Ghana, which says they're welcome under regional free movement rules. The group includes Nigerians and Gambians. Ghana is the first West African nation to agree to accept U.S. deported foreign nationals. And NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal has launched a new fragrance exclusively at JCPenney for 6 months. Priced at $55, the bold scent blends citrus, spice, and musk in a sleek black and gold bottle. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Saving money on tires and auto repair services is a big deal. That's why Big O offers a low price guarantee on tires with big deals like this. Now buy 3 select tires, get the 4th tire free with paid installation during our September to Remember. Now at Big O Tires.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers won their 4th straight and increased their lead to 3 games over San Diego in the NL West. Mookie Betts highlighted a 9-0 win over Colorado with a grand slam, the 7th in his career. Betts was 4 for 5 at the plate with 5 RBIs. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series at San Francisco Friday night. The Angels beat Minnesota 4-3. The Angels are 69-77 with 16 games left in the regular season. They are still in contention for one of the 3 wildcard spots in the American League playoffs. More troubling news for the UCLA football program. Backup quarterback Pierce Clarkson was arrested on suspicion of felony assault with a deadly weapon. LAPD said the weapon was not a gun. Clarkson posted a $30,000 bail. A court hearing is set for October 3rd. Clarkson has been suspended from the team pending the outcome of his case. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon, right after Tavis Smiley, here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian, with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose foes in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at quinemanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Yeah, y'all, come on. At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed. I'm glad about it. What a day, what a day, what a day. There is so much happening on this day in our business. It's either feast or famine. One day you're looking for stuff to talk about, and on another day there's more stuff than you can get your hands around. And this would be in the latter category, this day that is. And so I am grateful to Connie Rice. I'm grateful to Cornel West. And now I'm grateful to my White House correspondent and my talk radio show colleague, Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, who wrote a book about former Vice President Kamala Harris, a book, in fact, that she cooperated with, indeed sitting for an interview with Nii-Quartelai. So I am anxious in a moment to get his thoughts on the fiery excerpts from Kamala Harris's book, 107 Days, which was yesterday's breaking news before the shooting death of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk took over the headlines. Again, we've been discussing that with Connie Rice and Dr. West for the first half of this 3-hour program today. And before I get to Kamala Harris, first of all, Nii-Quartelai, how are you, sir?
Yeah, there, Tavis. You're right. This is a very busy news day. As you know, I'm in New Jersey today preparing to moderate a conversation with Newark Mayor Ras Baraka and the leadership over at Keene University for Black Men Vote. And this morning I've just been peppered with so many stories from different parts of the country, HBCUs on lockdown after threats to their campuses. And so, of course, being on a university campus this evening, this isn't just a story that we're covering. It's a story that I'm living.
Yeah, we'll talk about your being at Keene College tonight a little bit later in this conversation. Before I get to Kamala Harris, though, and I don't need to color this anymore. You're covering this as aggressively and as courageously, I think, as I'm trying to. But your thoughts overall about the way the media. I started the show today with a commentary of the 5 things that I believe, and there's certainly more than 5. I nailed it down to 5 things that I think that Donald Trump and conservatives and religious influencers and even the Democratic Party, say nothing of the mainstream media, are getting wrong about the way we are covering, addressing this Charlie Kirk murder and the news of it. But just broadly speaking, just give me your thoughts about what we saw yesterday, what we are dealing with now as it relates to the murder of Charlie Kirk.
I think what we saw yesterday was, on some level, a great tragedy. Certainly, Charlie Kirk has not talked about our community in the most glowing terms. In fact, has not passed up opportunities to leverage attacks against folks in our community. There are a number of folks, including, former presidents of the NAACP, academic professors who were put on the professor watch list because Charlie Kirk and his circle decided that they were going to make people's lives difficult. And so there are many mixed emotions that people have about the shooting. I think, most people agree that nobody deserves to be gunned down because of their political views and perspectives. But in Charlie Kirk's own words, he was a fierce defender of the Second Amendment. And when there have been other tragedies, he had gone on the record saying, essentially, if that's the cost of maintaining our Second Amendment rights, then let it be. And so it is a mixed bag for a number of our leaders, learners, and listeners today.
Yeah. You mentioned the many professors who, because of Charlie Kirk, were put on an academic watch list. One of our regular contributors to this program, Kay Whitehead out of Baltimore, hosts a brilliant talk show there in Baltimore City. She's on this program regularly. And so if you ever heard me talk to Kay Whitehead, she's just one person that you know through me who was on that list of professors on this watch list created by Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. So they clearly had, a bullseye, as it were, on some of these professors, college professors, many of them African-American. Just one example of a person that I've introduced you to through this program with some regularity who was on that list that Nii-Quartelai just mentioned, created again by Turning Point and by Charlie Kirk. Nii-Quartelai, as you know, is my White House correspondent. Here's some sound of Donald Trump talking about how he wants to honor the memory, the legacy of Charlie Kirk.
Let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd, very, very big.
Everything with Donald Trump is big, very, very big. But there you have it from the mouth of the president himself. Flags are flying at half-mast. He's now being awarded posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award this country gives. I'll leave that where it is. As my big mama used to always say, we're going to leave that lay where the good Lord done flung it. I'm going to leave that right where it is, but I don't need to tell this audience what I'm thinking, and I can assume what you are thinking about the way that Charlie Kirk, despite all that he said and did, including putting professors on a watch list, is now the recipient, or soon will be posthumously recipient of the highest award this country gives, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And again, the president ordered flags to fly at half-mast. I'm thinking of all the black people who've been murdered and lynched and otherwise maltreated, and we never flew flags at half-mast for them. None of them ever received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Indeed, Dr. King didn't have it. He didn't have the nation's highest honor. He's murdered in 1968, and he doesn't get the nation's highest honor until Jimmy Carter shows up in the White House in 1976. Just pause there for a second. They murdered Dr. King in 1968, and King does not get the nation's highest honor until after 1976. So basically 77. He takes over at the White House, and Jimmy Carter becomes the president. So, again, process that as you will. When we come forward, I want to spend the last moments that we have here. We got a little time left in this half hour with Dr. Corte talking about Kamala Harris. Again, this was the big story yesterday until the tragic and unfortunate murder of Charlie Kirk in Utah on that college campus. But Kamala Harris was trending. My entire first hour yesterday was reading as quickly as I could some of the excerpts from this new book, 107 Days. It drops on September 23rd. But Nii-Quartelai knows Vice President Harris, interviewed her for his book about her. So we'll talk in a moment about what his thoughts are. I'm anxious to hear his thoughts on what he made of these excerpts that were coming out yesterday. I happen to know that Dr. Corte is a friend of Corinne Jean-Pierre. We talked about it yesterday. Kamala took shots at Corinne. As I read it in this book and others. So, I can't wait to hear what Nii-Quartelai has to say about this book from Kamala Harris dropping on September 23rd, about which everybody's talking, given the excerpts that were released yesterday. You're listening to Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. Let's preserve black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
All right, watching my time here with my friend Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, my White House correspondent, host of his own program on my local station here in L.A., A More Perfect Union, every day during drive time. We are honored to have him as our colleague. He has written a book, Kamala, the Motherland and Me. Kamala Harris cooperated with that book. And I'll let Nii-Quartelai very quickly top line what the book is about because, again, he had access to her and knows her. But I'm really curious to get his take on what Kamala had to say in her book, or has to say, 107 Days. The book drops September 23rd. But by any other definition, these excerpts from this forthcoming book make it clear that she, is taking on the president himself and certainly his inner circle in this text. I digress. Nii-Quartelai, it's all yours.
Well, Tavis, thank you for mentioning Kamala, the Motherland and Me. That book really chronicles my journey aboard Air Force Two with Vice President Harris and the press corps, covering her historic trip to Ghana, Tanzania, and Zambia. So many insights I learned observing the vice president, talking to folks that were a part of that trip. And there are insights from my book that dovetail with some of the insights that we're learning from these excerpts, these early excerpts from 107 Days, the vice president's much anticipated memoir. But let me just say, Tavis, we can't heal what we don't talk about. Mm-hmm. And I want to recognize that the vice president has every right to share her story, to share her perspective. As I mentioned in my book, if we strip away the title if we set aside Kamala Harris, the political figure, for a second and zoom out, we are Kamala and Kamala is us. There are so many black folks out there in positions of power, influence, and authority. They're having to navigate the same power dynamics that the vice president is illuminating in this book. There are reports this morning from Axios that Biden world has exploded at Harris over the book excerpts after years of simmering tensions. It's for anybody who's covered the White House, it's no surprise that there were some tensions. There was a sense that the vice president's team, was not at the adult table, but was at sort of a lesser table. I won't call it the kids' table, but they weren't at the same table. And though we heard time and time again the vice president was the last person in the room, what did that really mean? What did that mean in terms of exercising power? What did that mean in terms of making decisions? And so, though the vice president, I understand that she focuses on those 107 days, I think there are plenty of examples long before she became the Democratic nominee that suggest that she may not have been treated as an equal partner by everyone in Biden world, a world that is known for being a bit more old school, a bit more hierarchical. And, let's not forget, Kamala Harris is a black woman. And she is in a role that a black woman has never served in before. And so the fact that there are folks in Biden world that don't seem to understand that basic dynamic is going to be something for us all to feast on.
I take your point that we can't heal from what we don't talk about. That's powerful, and I accept that. And yet the flip side of that is that politics is hard scrabble. As you well know, you cover the White House every single day. It's hard scrabble. Elbows are thrown all the time. And yet, to my mind, although they certainly have had their concerns expressed publicly, I don't know that Hillary Clinton would have written a book this way. I don't know that Nancy Pelosi would have written a book this way. And I'm only raising it not to criticize or demonize Kamala, but just to ask you, as you cover these issues, whether or not you think that the way that she went about writing this book serves her well into the future.
Well, I think it's important that we note that these are just excerpts from the book. So this isn't the entire story. These are just excerpts.
Agreed.
But I take your point, and I would say that Hillary Clinton wouldn't have a story like this to tell, right? This is an extraordinary set of circumstances, right? You have a historic first who is in the process of making history, and making history because you have a sitting president that is stepping back from power. There are not many instances in the history of this country where we've seen these sorts of dynamics afoot. And so this wouldn't be Hillary Clinton's story to tell.
Yep. No, I take that. And all I meant by that was that you cannot be a woman operating at that high level of government, the way Hillary Clinton has, the way Nancy Pelosi has, and not have, not the same story. But let's face it, again, politics is hard scrabble. Elbows are thrown, as I said, all the time. I mean, you're a woman, you really know you're going to catch it. And so, again, the jury's still out on this. I have not read the book. Nii-Quartelai is right. I said yesterday on this program, these are just excerpts. And you cannot judge a book by excerpts. You got to see the whole thing and read the entire text, which I intend to do, from cover to cover, and then make my own assessment. But the way these excerpts are reading, as Nii-Quartelai reported moments ago, Biden world has exploded with the way that she's come at them. And I'm not suggesting that she shouldn't tell her story. You got to live in your own truth. I agree with everything Nii-Quartelai has said. I'm just asking whether or not this bodes well for her, the way she's chosen to tell this story. I digress on that for now. Our remaining moments with Nii-Quartelai Quartey when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
I got 2.5 minutes left in this hour, and Dr. Corte knows how this works because he sits in this chair every single day in L.A. in our afternoon drive. Very quickly here, and I want to get to Keene College. I don't know what it does for her long term, but does this candor in this new book further damage Biden's legacy?
It definitely complicates Biden's legacy. It raises some serious questions as to what did he mean by having a governing partner. When he said time and time again that Kamala Harris is the last person in the room when I make big decisions, I think folks are going to be looking for some real examples as to where Kamala Harris made a material difference in his decision-making, where she made a material difference in his eyes. And so it's going to be interesting to not just read Kamala Harris's book, 107 Days, but to read Karine Jean-Pierre's book that's coming out, to read President Biden's book that will inevitably come out. And I think you got to put them all together in order to get at the 360 perspective that I think is necessary to assess the performance of the Biden-Harris administration.
We've got 60 seconds here left. As mentioned earlier, Dr. Corte's book about his journey with Kamala Harris is called Kamala, the Motherland and Me. Highly recommend that, number one. Number two, in these last 60 seconds, he is on a college campus tonight, Keene College to be exact, for a Black Men Vote New Jersey Town Hall. What do you expect to get out of that conversation, number one? And how are you feeling about being on a college campus with all these HBCUs certainly being shut down right now?
Well, I certainly feel a little uneasy, but I know that the folks over at Keene University are working hard to make sure that we are secure and safe. Look, as you know, there was a lot of talk in the 2024 election cycle about Black men, and so much talk that our lineup at KBLA has passed the mic to more Black men to speak candidly about our lived experience, about our take on a whole host of issues. And so that's what I'm looking forward to doing tonight in Union, New Jersey, outside of Newark, along with Newark Mayor Ras Baraka and the leadership of Keene University and the leadership over at Black Men Vote. And so anybody in the area, it's happening from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Come on out and let's talk.
My White House correspondent, Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, hosts of his own program called A More Perfect Union. Always appreciate his insights. Nii-Quartelai, have a great time this evening, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Tavis.
More of Tavis, Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The FBI is still searching for the gunman who killed conservative Speaker Charlie Kirk. Former agent Stuart Kaplan said